Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness, I'm having so much fun here. So excited to see you. Let me see if I can get myself big here. No, I don't seem to be able to oh, this is just so much fun, right? It is just so much fun. Let's see. There we go. Better. Let me see if I can bring this up. Add to the stage. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to get rid of this, but I'll figure it out. So welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Come on in. This is the Oration, Saga, and Song, week 11 of Think and Grow Rich. The Carnegie's Principles of Success. And yes, expect the unexpected. Good morning, Dr. Marcia. I am so happy that you're here. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to do my best to remove this puppy. Let's see if I can get it to stop the screen. Well, that isn't exactly what I wanted. So let me just see, remove from studio. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so you guys know how this is, right? You know what happens when we when we are working to bring these things to life. So as you come into the room, good morning, Wendy. Thank you for your beautiful message yesterday. And allow me to, let's see if I can get this. There we go. I'm going to sing you into the room. Jim, hi. Thanks, everybody. Be patient. And as we begin today, I'm Leslie Flowers, and I will sing you into the room. I am so happy that you're here. Enjoy this next 50 minutes with me. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Get your notes and your drinks and sit back. Hello, Sandra and Tracy and Wendy and Jim. Sharon Rose, so glad that you're all here. You have no idea what this means to me. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy, it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. And here we are. And it feels like everything is perfect. And good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to have you here. And, today we are doing the mystery of sex transmutation. And let me say hello to everybody before we get started. Lots of fun and exciting things. I'm Leslie Flowers. And if you don't know me, over the last almost 20 years, I've been teaching Carnegie's Principles of Success, Think and Grow Rich, to over 20,000 hours. I've taught 65 12-week courses that has yielded 500 goals set and achieved, not only based on this, but my 17 years of study above and beyond Think and Grow Rich to find a way for you to consistently achieve your goals so that you can build momentum. Most of us almost all of us, maybe 1 or 2 out of 100, know the process to achieve every time. And because it was never taught to us, and it was never taught to our teachers, and it was never taught to our parents. Therefore, the process was never taught to us. So we have been stuck with haphazard and sporadic results all of our life. And I have to tell you, once you learn how to put this together, remember that Think and Grow Rich, where is it here? Yeah. #2 bestseller of all times. All your personal development greats were weaned on this book. Those who have made millions, they've simply taken Think and Grow Rich, the #2 bestseller of all time. It is the blueprint for riches, to have a life of wealth, health, and happiness. So notice it's 3 things. It isn't just wealth. So I'm sure you know this, because this audience here, you all know that there's more to it than loving money. It's not the love of money, right? It's people first, money second. And we know we need money to carry out our projects of service and our purpose wherever we are in life. So I'm so happy to see you here. Here's Dr. Marcia. Hello, Dr. Marcia. Thank you so much for being here. Missed your show this week. I was there. Looking forward to your Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time live. Please join Dr. Marcia. There's Wendy. Thank you, Wendy, for your beautiful voice message this week. Totally unexpected and so kind. You all are my audience. I'm here to share what I know in a fun and enjoyable, entertaining experience, so that you get what the principles of success are, the order in which to perform them, and you learn the process through repetition so that you get to live a life of wealth, health, and happiness. Very few do this. You have to be ready and willing. You got to show up here, right? And if you do this every Friday and then Monday at 10 a.m. Mind Over Matter Mondays, that is different ways of thinking. We're looking to harness conscious thought instead of being run by our subconscious, emotional, reactive mind, which is the not thinking mind. So what distinguishes humans from all the other living things is we have a conscious mind. We have strategies, etc. But the other animals, etc., everything runs automatically, doesn't it? We have an automatic side that is not good, but it is the challenge that we must have in order to build perfect faith in our ability and our deservability. Jim, I'm so glad you're here. Must be late afternoon for you. And here is the wonderful Tracy, Voice of Business, 1 o'clock Wednesdays, Eastern Time, live. And here is Sandra Bote, coach, NLP practitioner, hypnosis expert, I'll say expert practitioner, and best-selling international author. Yay. And here's Sharon Rose Winfield, the woman of gratitude. Rosie Speaks. Look for her hashtag. Thank you so much for being here. And there is Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Sherry I met her as an assistant to Stanley Green's Power Thinking Group. She has already gone over and above to make sure that I had all the information. And I can't imagine if I was the only one, but thank you, Sherry, for treating me like I was the only one, week after week after week. And here is our darling Omar M., who just we did Wednesday night, we did a Zoom party. Omar does interesting, fascinating Zoom parties and different kinds of game shows using lives in a unique way to get to know people deeper. So at noon on Sundays, he has a show every week called Do We Really Know Them? And there is our Lisa Fevick, who has a show every other Tuesday afternoon all about menopause and how to manage menopause with your eating and exercise, etc. What should you eat? What shouldn't you eat? And she also has a wonderful panel and different guests. So menopause, for those of you who don't know, can last up to 30 years for a woman. So it behooves everybody to know right? When we're in in that place. Yes, you did, Meg. Did you like that song? I'll tell you where it comes from in just a minute. There's Linda Meyer. Hi, Linda. So glad to see you again. It is such a joy when I see your face every day. Every time I do a show, you're there. And my intention is that you all are getting things, that you're having epiphanies, small breakthroughs. And this is what I want you to put in the comments. Any question you have, because remember, when people go back to watch this again, or for the first time on Team Replay, not only do they get the content here, but they also get your takeaways. And I will tell you that the comments are usually fodder for new posts when you write comments. So I love that. And here's Charles Caldwell, and I'll pop this in here right now just for fun for you, since he's here all the way from Hong Kong and it's late at night there, 10, 11 at night. He'll be here Monday at 10 a.m. as we dip deeper into transformational thinking concepts and application. So Charles, thank you so much for being here. It's always wonderful to see you. And we also have Ashif Haji. Hi, Ashif, lives in Toronto. He is our 21st century Rumi, right here, alive and real, a thought leader that is so succinct and profound. You just must put him in your feed by following him. And here is the lovely Christy Williams, who is a customer service representative, but she treats us all like customers. And so thank you, Christy, for being here and always supporting us and me. And Christy and I are in the 2350 network together, which is an off-platform personal development group that began here. And I'm very happy to be with her. And I'll mention something else about the 2350 network a little later on. And here is Leigh Scheidel. Hi, Leigh. Gosh, it's 7:15 in California, the West Coast. And that's where Leigh is calling in from. I met her, 10 years ago. She is a digital photographer, but she and her partner have also created Integrate Art, which is a program which they've gotten into some of the schools on the West Coast, which teaches students and teachers how to use art in all disciplines. And that makes good sense, doesn't it? Because if you're studying art, you're going to show pictures. So I guess that's an extra sense that we're using. So I love that, Leigh. Thank you so much for being here and your friendship all these years. And I will tell you that 10 years ago, we had a disagreement, but it's funny how the universe brought us back together, isn't it, Leigh? Sometimes the people that we disagree with are just the ones we're meant to know. So I'm so glad you're here. And Al, hi, Al. Al is over in Malaysia. Gosh, it's got to be late at night for you, my friend, maybe 10 o'clock or 11. And I'm going to speed through this because I got a lot to teach today in the next 50 minutes. So I'm so glad you're here, Al. Al is part of the 2350 network. And I will mention again later that we're all in a summit that's coming up in October that I think you'll be interested in. Chisholm, so glad to see you. Thank you for being here. Please make sure you connect with me and that you connect with one another. Okay, so shall we begin? Let's begin. Because today, let me show you what makes it. I think I can make this big. Anyway, so this is the agenda for today. And let me know if you can't see this clearly. But the song was "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning." And it was from the show Oklahoma that debuted on Broadway in 1943. Now, this whole series is based on what was it like to live 100 years ago. We have a lot of intelligence and a lot of excitement with technology. But I absolutely love going back 100 years. I don't want to forget the things that my grandmothers listened to and how life was for them. It was simpler, it was quieter. Oh, and it was misunderstood, because we're going to get into what Napoleon Hill thinks about sex. And it's really, he knows quite a bit, but it's also rather humorous because look, it's been almost 100 years since he wrote what he knew about the principles of success. And for those of you who don't know, Think and Grow Rich was written over a 20-year period, was investigated and Napoleon Hill was a 19-year-old cub reporter when he met Andrew Carnegie, and Carnegie said, hey, I want you to go out there and I want you to interview these people, find out what they're doing to be happy, healthy, and wealthy that no one else is doing. He didn't pay him a dime. The kid was 19. So you'd ask yourself, would you ever do that? Would you take on a 20-year job and not be paid? So he's now known as the 20th century's greatest reporter on success. But he had to learn success along the way. And what Think and Grow Rich is a distillation of everything we know about success since we began recording history about 5,000 years ago. So none of this is new. Nothing is new, really. And all ideas are here. Just take someone to get them and move with them. But therein lies the challenge. All right. So the reading is from The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. Let me make sure I don't have more people coming in here that I've missed. Oh, well, this is lovely. Thank you very much for sharing that. Okay. Yes, in our world, in the United States, we're going through a lot. And part of the work that we do here, we don't ignore it, but we're always looking for the plus side. What is the lesson? What action may I take? I'm not just going to sit back and gripe, but am I compelled to take any action that doesn't violate the rights of other people? And so if you are compelled, do something positive for it. Sitting back and commiserating and feeling bad is not enough. But something small, the size of what you do doesn't matter. That's relative to whatever you think is important, what you value. So thank you very, very much for being here. And you're going to learn about vibration and cellular vibration and how it connects with sex, okay, and sex energy. And you'll learn some things that you may not have known. It's kind of fun, actually, looking at it. And then we'll go on a picnic in Virginia for our visualization. So get ready to step back 100 years with me as I share this particular lesson with you. Okay, so let's see what the first thing is. Well, the first thing we're going to do is review what we've learned. So let me just make this big for you for a second, okay? So Think and Grow Rich has 13 principles of success. It's a 12-week course, and I'll be starting another one in 2 weeks, and I've got a great idea for that one. I've just started thinking about how to repackage all of this so that it's very interesting to you. And I think what we'll be doing is using the principles of success to set a Q4 goal. So the thread, because the process to achieve is in this. And so I'll be focusing on the 13 principles, but the highlight will be which of these things is going to allow you to achieve your goal as often as possible, right? So I'll highlight those things for you so you can set a goal or not, right? But that's how it will go through the last quarter of the year. It's perfect time. You want to write a book? Do you want to write a draft? Do you want a new job? Do you want to save money? Do you want to sell some things? Do you want to take a trip? Right now, if you want $1 million by the end of the year, you cannot rob a bank. So whatever goal you pick cannot violate the rights of other people. So we all start out with definite purpose. This is not even one of the principles. It's in the introduction, but you never move on from the introduction until you understand definite purpose. None of it works if you don't have definite purpose. So don't even start until you're clear in your mind that you're going to do this. Now, in many cases, the best goals are ones for which you have no idea how to do or you've failed at. So, but there's something that compels you to be the one. You don't know how to do it, but something inside of you says, I'm doing this now. I might have tried it before and failed, but I'm going to do it. And then from that, once you get your very clear and definite purpose, now you have to fall in love with it. That's step one, the starting point of all achievement. You have to get to the point where you think about it every day and you start seeing the world through the prism of your desire. You start hearing things and seeing things in social media and on television, or even in the news that is speaking to you, that the decibels get louder because you are focused on what it is you're going for. So after that comes faith, building faith in the idea that you can have it. So you have to be in love with it and start to look at the world through and notice things that are showing up that looked coincidental, but maybe were not. And this is how faith is built in our ability and deservability. And you know that we have fears that stop us from building that faith. So that's the paradox, the struggle, if you will, between faith and fear, good and evil. And we've been talking about this for 5,000 years in one form or another. Once you have faith built in something you've never done before, and it takes at least 12 weeks, and that's why we're going to do Q4 this way, it is the minimum amount required to build faith in your ability and deservability again. Once won't be enough, but once you do it, you have perfect faith. And how do you get this faith? Pay close attention today as we're talking about the transmutation of sex energy to auto-suggestion. This is the repetition of self-suggestion. What are you thinking over and over and over again? How does it make you feel? Okay. Now, the other thing you want to look at very carefully is imagination. Imagination is the workshop of the mind, and we've gone through all of these. There's two kinds. We're going to be looking particularly at creative imagination. There's also a synthetic imagination. So creative imagination is when you get an idea out of the blue, right? You just get this wild idea. There's a very interesting reading I'm going to do for you out of this chapter about this very thing, creative imagination, a very important part. And synthetic is the things you already know and have experienced and you can put to use again. So we don't ever really want to get rid of our failures because we've learned so much. So keep them around. But your faith will outweigh your fear at one point, at some point. Then we look at decision. Decisions are easy to make. It's the opposite of procrastination, the biggest pain in the neck we all have, right? It's the biggest habit that's bad for us, and yet it's eradicated simply if you have a definite purpose. When you have that purpose, if something comes up that you would like to do very much, you have to ask yourself, if I do this, will it take me closer to my goal or my purpose or not? And if it won't, you say no for now. That's one of the hardest things to do because it's so exciting. And we have such a sensory overload and so many seeming opportunities. But we lose our focus and our ability to concentrate, which are critical in transmuting sexual energy into creative imagination. And you'll hear the word genius today also. Persistence is required to achieve anything, but if you have a definite purpose and you're in love with it, you've been at it and you're building faith, you start to see the signs, you know they're not coincidences, you're doing this in space, repetitive, a couple times a week, maybe 3 times a week for a few minutes, you don't give up. Then we got into the subconscious mind, which I'll show you a little bit about today, but the subconscious is not a thinking mind. We think it's thinking, but it's not at all. Not at all. No thinking goes there. Then we did mastermind, and this is when 2 or more people get together working on the same outcome. It creates exponential minds. I can get an idea for your business, and I know nothing about it. You can get one for mine. It's the magic of the ether. And then 2 weeks ago, we did the sixth sense, which is what we know as intuition, right? That's conscious. That is not subconscious. A lot of us think it is, but you'll see. And so for this week, we're doing the mystery of sex transmutation, which is the 10th step to riches. Okay. Now, Let me just look in here. Leo, look who's here. Okay, let's just see what, hey, Charles. Won't be about more information. It's about transformation. Thank you. I love that. Please be there. It'll be so much fun. Good morning, Sean Michael. On Mondays at noon, he has Monday Mind Shift, a wonderful coach. We speak the same language. So glad that you're here. It means a lot to me to have you here. And here is Lee Lytle. Haven't seen you in a while, Lee. Yes, I love that. And we all have this trauma, honestly, it's amazing what has been happening. We all are now beginning to realize that we have originating incidents when something traumatic happened. And we told ourselves, well, we're never doing this again because it's bad to do that. The problem is that fear that we developed as a child in almost every case is still running the show as an adult. You could be 70 years old and still afraid of doing something that you were criticized for at 7 years old, but you don't know it. So you gotta be aware first. So I hope that you find little bits here that you go, oh, all right. So yes, the subconscious mind doesn't know negatives as well as non-thinking or aware. That is absolutely correct. Absolutely. Okay, so let's take a look here and just look at that completely, as you say. It's a very simple explanation. You've seen many of them, but here's what's happening here. For those of you who haven't worked with me before, and even if you have, you want to understand this one thing that we know about through empirical evidence. Has there been scientific evidence? There is some. But if you look at what universities produce, they'll produce brain, but brain and mind aren't the same. I've been rather disappointed and found very few people from the university realm with a PhD in neurobiology that know nothing about how the mind works. And that's because their teachers didn't know either. So they're coming into this, there are a few people. Dr. Deborah Forrest is one who is has a degree, a PhD in whatever it is, whatever you call it, neurobiology, but she also knows the mind. And so the distinction between the two is very powerful. They are not the same. Brain is an organ and mind is a cellular activity. What you think about the most and how you feel about it affects your body and it affects your results. So yes, the brain has endorphins and chemicals, but it doesn't mean anything to me unless I understand what the heck am I thinking during these times. If I have a flow of endorphins, what's going on with my thinking? Because that's the only thing that any human can control is what we think. That's it. So in the conscious mind, we get our information through our five senses. Basically, everybody does. But the 3% who know these processes, including myself, right? We have these intellectual faculties that we've been developing over the years. And that's what we're doing here. So in your conscious mind, your higher side, this is really your thinking, responsive mind. It's your feeling mind. It's not emotional. It's more of a sensing. And this is where we develop our perception. We know that perception changes with every new bit of information. So then why do we dig our heels in to be right? When our rightness changes as we become more aware, as we add more information. But we do that, don't we? Comes from the other side. Okay, then we have imagination, which I told you want to really pay attention today in your creative imagination. Ideas that come from the universe. Now, the next one is intuition. People have equated gut with intuition. It's not the same. Gut is a fear. It's a habit. It's a belief. It's automatic. It is not thinking. It's not strategic. But if we believe that that's the truth, then we are going to be at the mercy of all our fears and we'll take action based on our fear. And they're not good. There are 6 of them, which we'll do next week. So on this strong side here, intuition is where the universe communicates with us. This is where we get our creative ideas. This is where when we go to sleep at night and we go to sleep with a problem that we can't solve and we wake up in the morning and we have the answer. God is within you. I don't have to show you scientifically how all of this works because you've seen it. Your intuition is in your conscious mind. It is the voice that whispers and says, don't do that, Leslie. But keep in mind on the other side, those fears, those basic fears in our habits, which are completely reactive, have been in charge for decades. So when you get a new idea that you're excited about that you've never done, before you can even inhale, one of your 6 basic fears is warning you first at bat to say, bad idea, Leslie, you've tried that before, you failed, and immediately you give up. Because the fear is the worst when you get the new idea. That's why you want to get into action right away. Because if you get that idea and you immediately take 2 steps toward it, small steps, you've shut down fear temporarily. So once you get the idea, you've got to get right into action. The longer you wait, the more chances that you'll give it up. Then the idea goes off to somebody else. Memory. We're going to be looking at memory too. Napoleon Hill talks a lot about this because in your memory are stored the vibration. And it is the vibration, the cellular vibration that transmutes the sexual energy, which is physical over on the right side, over to the left side. So really what we're doing is raising our cellular vibration. In every cell, there are proteins. And Bruce Lipton and James Brody have both explained scientifically what's going on. So when you think something positive, a lot, there's a spring in your step. You could get goosebumps on your arm. You're happy. When you think negatively, and when you're thinking positively, all the proteins in every cell move in unison in one direction. And the reverse is true. When you think something negatively and you wallow over a period of time, the cellular vibration slows down, the proteins move in a different direction, and you stub your toe. So mind controls the body. Now, you can also change the body around to have it affect your mind, certainly through exercise, etc. But the source of results is what you're thinking. And only one thought pervades at any given time. So how do you overcome these fears? Well, you have to have a definite purpose that compels you. You got to want to do it regardless of the fear. And so memory, we use it to resurrect, I'm checking the time here, to resurrect that feeling. And we're going to be looking at that today about love. Love and sex. And then reason is the ability to strategically think about something. So if it gets to the negative part with sex or alcohol or any one of those things, do you have enough strength to strategically and focus on not doing it? No. Once you've got this over on the right side, you are hell-bent to build faith that can counteract any of these. But that's what this work is all about. So let me look here and see. Let's see. All right, let me just say hello to everybody because there's a lot here and I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. The subconscious, can I take it? Our subconscious reflects, yes, whatever we feel the most, whatever we think about the most, right? It is through repetition, auto-suggestion, that thought will impress into the subconscious mind. Now look, conscious mind we can reject. If I don't like what's going on in a room or if someone's on stage that I've blocked, I have the option to leave. So the conscious mind, you can choose to accept or reject. Let me put that question back up here. That's really a good question. So you have the ability to accept or reject. Once you have repeatedly, on purpose or by default, being in the room where the only television show that you listen to is MSNBC, or on the other side, it could be Fox News, if that's all you listen to through auto-suggestion and repetition. By default, it's being impressed into your subconscious mind. That is what you believe. Your results match what you really believe about your ability and deservability. So if you don't have the money, the house, the car, the love, all of that you want, you simply so far don't believe that you deserve it. But of course you do. Great question. So the sad part about this, thanks for that question too, is that we have perfect faith in our fears. We have perfect faith in our habits. They work every time, don't they? When we're fearful about speaking in front of people, we're fearful every time, aren't we? So the problem here is over on this side, we might have faith in God because God lives in the conscious mind with you all the time. That's how you communicate, through your vibration. The universe knows. I say God, universe, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, it doesn't matter. Those are all labels for this one universal source of energy and love that is omnipresent and always wants you to do well. But the only way the universe knows how to give it to you is by what you're thinking repeatedly and how it translates to the way you're feeling. Are you feeling good or bad? If you're feeling good predominantly, then your results will match that amplitude of vibration. If you're feeling lousy, your results will also show up that way. So this is where it comes in. You can consciously or unconsciously reject it, but you must intentionally, in this process, be focused on what it is you want. What is the goal? What are you compelled to do? The one goal at a time. Great question. All right. Oh, look who's here. Alexandria's here. Hi, Alexandria. So good to see you. She has a brand new project. Check her out. Let me just double check here. 𝗙𝗏𝗜𝗚. Hi. You're the first person I invite every week. You're the first person who RSVPs. I go back to my former events, and that's how I invite you. And so thank you, 𝗙𝗏𝗜𝗚. Look who's here, Dr. Stanley Green, or Mr. Stanley. I don't know. You might be doctor, but for me, you're a Dr. Stanley. And Stanley Green is the first sponsor for Mind Over Matter Mondays. Thank you. And he is president and CEO of Power Thinking Corp. It's all about thinking in different ways so that we can choose our point of view rather than being run over by our fears or habits, which are automatic. And that's the emotional mind. So when we get ticked off, it's those on the right that dominate your conscious mind and edge out anything positive you're trying to think. So our work in doing this twice a week, and everybody doing all of this kind of conscious and thoughtful work about who am I? What is self-confidence? What is self-esteem? What is identity? We're developing those muscles on the left. And Stanley was here last week as our first sponsor. And we talked about the 7 skills of resilience. All right. I'm going to come back to this in a second, but I got stuff that I need to do. Okay. So here's what I want to show you next. Okay. I'm showing you this. This is my book that I started 25 years ago. And here are the things I want you to know as you're listening. Napoleon Hill talks about genius, and that the way you reach genius is through love and sex and a whole group of thought stimuli that you would repeat over and over again that makes you feel good, that spikes your cellular vibration. Transmutation is moving the sexual energy from the physical into the creative imagination side. So 25 years ago, when I wrote the outline for this book, it was like 2001 or 2, I was very much in love. And I was also deeply hurt. My 30-year marriage had broken up. I was miserable about it. So I filled in that gap by falling in love. And the law of rhythm had that love be as strong as the misery I was feeling. So you see, when you have a low point, you will have a matching high point. You just don't know when. So I had bought a chocolate company, was driving up to 4 hours across the state of North Carolina to the mountains, to Asheville, where I opened a chocolate company. Why? I don't know. I just got the idea. And on the drive, I began, without realizing it, taking the sexual energy, because all I had to do was think about being with this guy, right? I mean, you know what love is and the sexual energy. And all of a sudden, as I was driving 4 hours on a straight road back and forth every weekend for months, I began to visualize the world errata. He was there with me, of course. And so there was no sex being had at that time, but all I had to do was use my memory to bring up that intense feeling, right? And it wasn't love. It was really sex, but it was a crush too. It wasn't love as I know love now. So that was the creative genius that happened without my knowing it. I didn't know, but as soon as I began to think about our experiences together, the cellular vibration remembered through memory and spiked to its highest point. And so whenever I would get to the chocolate company, I would sit down, I write the outline, right? Just an outline. Maybe this week it was topography, and there was never any story, right? It was just this idea of a place of love. And then it wasn't until 25 years later when I actually had the smarts. I wasn't ready to write it, but I wrote it in 12 weeks because I already had the outline. And it came across as a #1 bestseller in several categories, international and domestic. So it is said that when you can transmute that sexual energy, which is buzzing, as you know what I'm talking about, into a creative form, that's where you want to go. And Napoleon Hill points out that most people do not achieve greatness until after 40. And sometimes after 40 is about the earliest, because it's when you start to realize that sex is not just for physical gratification. When you move away from that, and it takes its form in creative writing, photography, I don't know, art, exercise, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you as a real life example for me. Right. So, okay. Now, these, let me make sure I've got everything. Oh, wait, oration. Okay, I'll do the oration in just a minute. Okay. So this is what you have to think about. Hi. Let me just say hello to the sweetest guy here. This is Zarar. Love is the only genius that makes you forget your passwords, your deadlines, and your Wi-Fi strength. Most people are just stuck their whole life in the physical side, which I'm not complaining about. But I will tell you this, that there's a whole list of people here, and Napoleon Hill talks about it as though, you know, behind every man is a great woman. That's why so he brings up all these names, and they all have women behind them that when they met these women, you know, they became amazingly, did amazing achievements. And you know, George Washington, Napoleon Bonaparte with Josephine, and Abraham Lincoln, Mary Todd Lincoln. And so there's a whole list of these people that, that you know these names, Caruso, Enrique Caruso, Woodrow Wilson, Oscar Wilde, Albert H. Gary, Elbert Hubbard, Thomas Jefferson, Robert Burns, William Shakespeare, and George Washington all had women behind them. But it works for women too. I promise you. But he didn't know that, because 100 years ago, they were still treating women kind of, yeah. Well, you know, I'm not going to get into that. Okay. So these are the, did I want to read that first? Let me just look here, Albert. No. So these are the 10 stimuli, okay, that I want you to look at. This is what, when you think about this consistently and repeatedly in spaced intervals over time, that you're doing something that you are compelled to do. You don't exactly know how to, but you're going to move your feet in baby steps. You're going to keep moving. It's something you want. You've overcome your fear. It will come back again, right? Because you don't know how to do it. You just remind yourself why you started. So the way to begin this is it can be the desire for sexual expression. Just thinking about it raises your vibration. Everybody close their eyes and think about sex. Okay, now watch what happens to inside you. There's probably a big smile on your face. Love. And love is not lust, nor is it a crush. Okay, so love is deeper. Love doesn't even require sex, I dare say. And then a burning desire. It could be for fame, power, or money. But like you're compelled, you're obsessed. I know that's not a good word, obsession, but that's an important word. You're obsessed. Music can do this. It spikes the vibration, the thoughts, bring back how you felt, and you're buzzing. You have goosebumps, right? You're excited. You're inspired. Very close friendships, working in a mastermind with other people on the same thing, the same project, because a lot of creative imagination comes in there from everybody. Mutual suffering. This is the negative side when people get together. Oh, my doctor said this is wrong. And if you've ever driven by an old country store, right, where there's a whole bunch of people sitting out front, usually men griping about, or women griping about what's wrong. Oh, my psoriasis is bigger than yours. Oh, yeah, but look at this thing I just had lanced. Right. So that lowers your vibration and gives you more of the same. Autosuggestion is by repeating those thoughts purposely. Fear is the very low vibration, and narcotics and alcohol. Now, a lot of these people that have done great things, who was it? I wrote down who was that. Oh, yeah, Edgar Allan Poe was an alcoholic. Burns wrote Old Lang Syne. So you see, it can be used in a negative way, and it can also be used in a positive way. Now I want to read you something really fun. Let me just see if I can find it here. Look here, it says love is pain. Okay. Okay. Where is this? Is there something really interesting? Okay, here it is. This is really, really good. And I want you to listen for yourself in this. Okay, so one of America's most successful and best-known financiers followed the habit of closing his eyes for 2 or 3 minutes before making a decision. When asked why he did this, he replied, "With my eyes closed, I am able to draw upon a source of superior intelligence." So this was my point about that the universe resides, we're co-creators. It's always connected to you in your conscious mind. It's that whisper that says, don't do that, Leslie. Right? Whereas the other side says, do it, it'll look really good. But it may not be good for you. But the whisper of the universe is always there. Okay, Dr. Elmer R. Gates of Chevy Chase, Maryland, created more than 200 useful patents, many of them basic, through the process of cultivating and using the creative faculty. That's creative imagination. Remember, there are 2 kinds. And creative is when you get an idea from the universe, like you just don't know where it came from, but oh my gosh, you really want to do it. Right? It makes sense. His method is both significant and interesting to anyone interested in achieving genius status, a category to which Dr. Gates unquestionably belonged. Dr. Gates was one of the truly great, though generally less publicized, scientists of the world. In his laboratory, he had what he called his personal communication room. It was practically soundproof and so arranged that all light could be shut out. It was equipped with a small table on which he kept a pad of writing paper. When Dr. Gates desired to draw upon the forces available to him through his creative imagination, he would go into this room, seat himself at the table, lower the lights, and concentrate upon the known factors of the invention on which he was working, remaining in that position until ideas began to flash into his mind in connection with the unknown factors of the invention. On one occasion, ideas came so fast that he wrote continuously for almost 3 hours. When the thoughts stopped flowing and he examined his notes, he found they contained a description of principles which had no parallel among scientific data. Moreover, the answer to his problem was intelligently presented in these notes. In this manner, Dr. Gates completed more than 200 patents, which he had begun but not completed. That had begun but not completed by other inventors who were less resourceful than he. Evidence of the truth of his statements lies in the United States Patent Office. He earned a living sitting for ideas for individuals and corporations. While they may not have realized it, some of the largest corporations in America paid him substantial fees by the hour for sitting for ideas. So this is also what authentic journaling is. When you begin to journal, and you just continue to write the same time every day without thinking, just writing. You ask questions, you answer them. Both voices sound the same to begin with, but one day you'll notice that the answer will come in a different voice, and that's the voice of the universe. And that's what authentic journaling is. So time is scooting by, so I really got to boogie on here. Okay, here's a few things going on. You can use your phone here to grab the QR code for a free registration for Tuesday, September 23rd at 11 a.m. Also in the comments, I put a link. This is where Dennis Pittigo is going to interview me, rather like a fireside chat, and I'd love to have you there. October 3rd and 4th is the Work-Life Balance Summit, and I've been part of this before. It's a 2-day event. I've got a couple of discount tickets. Reach out to me, and they're really well discounted. And then every week on LinkedIn, you know that I have a weekly carousel. Next week is the 12th week of this series. So the week after that, we're going to start a new 12-week to take us through the end of the year. It's going to be Outwitting the 6 Ghosts of Fear. You know, I talk a lot about fear. Napoleon Hill waited till the end to put these in, because if he had put the ghosts of fear up in the beginning, you wouldn't have read the book, for sure. All right, now we're going to take a walk. This is our meditation, and we will complete here in 3 minutes. Running over just a touch, but better than usual. Now, I want everybody to just sit back. Well, isn't this interesting? What happened here? Hold on a second. I want this. Oh, I know what's wrong. Shoot, here we go. Better. Okay, everybody ready? So I want you to sit back and relax. I recommend you close your eyes and listen to my words. Visualization is the DNA of manifestation. This visualization is designed to resurrect your memories of love, what real love is, and how you actually have transformed in many ways the vibration of love and sex together to create genius. So, take a look at this picture and listen to my words. You want to imagine this as though you are there right now, and we are stepping back in time to really a time when Napoleon Hill would have done this, because we're going back to where he was born in a one-room shack. Close your eyes, everyone, and let the present soften in your mind. And I'm going to do this rather quickly, so walk with me. You are walking through the woods of Appalachia in early autumn 1883. The air is crisp but not cold, just enough to make the warmth of your breath visible in the morning light. Red and brown leaves drift lazily around you, whispering as they fall, brushing your shoulders like old friends. In your hands, a large wicker basket swings gently with every step. Inside, a luncheon prepared with love. The path is narrow, winding through trees that have seen generations pass. You pause beside a patch of wildflowers, fading, but still fragrant. You kneel, inhale their last offering of sweetness, and whisper a quiet thank you. The clearing appears ahead, dappled in golden light. You arrive first. This is your meeting place. The place where love feels like breath, natural, effortless, alive. You lay out a red and white checkered cloth on the soft ground, smoothing it with care. From the basket, you unwrap fried chicken pieces in crinkled newspaper. 2 plates, 2 clean handkerchiefs folded like small promises, tin cups with handles, and a cool tin container of milk. Creamy potato salad, still chilled, and finally a bundle of warm biscuits, buttery, fragrant, and comforting. You sit back on your heels, heart full. Then footsteps, the rhythm of someone familiar. You look up, and there they are, your best friend, your soulmate, the one whose presence feels like home. Their eyes widen at the sight of the picnic and then soften with joy. You smile, and they smile back. Something ancient and new passing between you. You both sit at the edge of the cloth, knees touching. No words yet, just the quiet miracle of being seen. You look into their eyes and melt. Time folds inward. The forest holds its breath. And love, in its purest form, fills the space between you. Now everyone take a breath and come back into the room. And let's see if I can make me big. And that completes today. So now you have much to think about. And I'll let you know what's coming next week as I close this session. I will come back and read all your wonderful comments and respond to them. And remember, when other people listen to this and watch this, they're going to see what you wrote. So thank you for all your comments. They're beautiful. They're just beautiful. And I'll see if I can get this to work before I close out. Have a fabulous weekend. Thank you for being here. Reach out to me.